Michael Saylor just pitched Bitcoin to Amazon founder Jeff Bezos. PayPal just enabled Bitcoin payments and is showcasing it at millions of merchants. And while all this is happening, Bitcoin just crashed to like 80K. And the whales, they're gobbling it up at insane levels. Oh, and those at the IMF are literally forcing El Salvador to stop buying Bitcoin as part of its $1.4 billion deal. Censorship much? We're breaking it all down today. The bullish, the skeptical, and the downright insane. Buckle up, my friends. It's time to send it!
Or told Microsoft that they should do, and what are the chances that happen?
Microsoft is buying its own stock back, it's buying bonds, it's dividending out cash flows. If they simply swept their existing cash into Bitcoin, it probably adds $1 trillion to the market cap and $150 to the share price. If they converted the dividend into Bitcoin, adds another $150 to the share price, another $1 trillion to the market cap. If they replace the buybacks with Bitcoin, instead of surrendering the capital, they invest the capital, adds another $1 trillion and $150 to the share price. If they just take a little bit of leverage, they basically take 10% leverage on a huge stack of Bitcoin, they add another $1 trillion. So what I'm saying is, instead of surrendering the capital and then leveraging up the company, right now Microsoft trades at 20 times forward expectations. So I'll say it, 95% of the enterprise value of Microsoft is based on expectations, is the best way to say it, right? And that means it's very asset poor, it's expectation rich. Why don't you actually buy assets, and instead of being 95% on expectations, be 50% on expectations, de-risk the company, grow the enterprise value, and feed the digital economy of the future.
All right, let's talk about this bombshell. Michael Saylor laid out the Bitcoin case to Bezos. Yes, bald Bezos, the guy who built Amazon and has spent the last 2 decades redefining commerce. He's now getting orange-pilled by the man who turned MicroStrategy into a Bitcoin fortress. Now, is Amazon about to put Bitcoin on their balance sheet? No idea. But let me ask you this. If Jeff Bezos suddenly becomes a hardcore free market guy, how long before Amazon starts accepting Bitcoin? Or even worse for the Fiat crowd, how long before Bezos builds a Bitcoin bank? And all this isn't happening in a vacuum. Check it out. PayPal just enabled Bitcoin payments at millions of merchants. They're making it seamless to use Bitcoin like actual money. Does that sound bullish? Yes, but also, does that sound like the start of a permissioned KYC-tracked Bitcoin economy? Also yes, roll it!
It is also well known that Tether is a favored on and off ramp for illicit activities to interact with crypto asset markets and is knowingly facilitating violations of the law. It was recently reported that Israeli law enforcement directed Tether to freeze 32 addresses controlled by Hamas and Russian-linked entities in Israel and Ukraine. Tether is failing to conduct adequate consumer and customer due diligence and screening, despite being aware that its product is used to facilitate terrorism and other illicit activities. That's why today I sent a letter with Representative French Hill, who's the chairman of the House Digital Assets Subcommittee, to Attorney General Merrick Garland, asking the Department of Justice to wrap up its investigation and consider criminal charges against Binance and Tether for their involvement in illicit finance. And we now know, as Senator Haggerty noted, that the role of crypto assets in funding Hamas has been overstated, but even $1 going to support the recent heinous attacks is too much. Binance and Tether have knowingly been allowing terrorists to move funds using their unregulated exchanges. They're based in the Seychelles, in the Caymans, in the British Virgin Islands.
This is why we always say use Bitcoin, but don't rely on third parties. Hold your own keys. Self-custody is non-negotiable, which brings me to our next point. But before we dive into all this market madness, look at our likes.
Three, four times, maybe.
I gotta pump those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers in this racket.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and give us a pamp while we take a moment to recognize our sponsors, the masters of Bitcoin self-custody and sovereignty, the Bitcoin way. If you're looking to learn how to Bitcoin, how to properly secure your Bitcoin, you might want to head on over to the newly revamped Bitcoin Way website where you can begin your road to Bitcoin sovereignty today. If you're looking to schedule a free 30-minute consultation, go ahead and use that link below in the show notes. My friends, do you ever feel lost and alone? Do you explain to people that inflation is theft? And then they just ask you if you caught the game last night. Well, all your lonely days are gone, my friends, with the Orange Pill app. You can stack friends who stack sats. It's the ultimate hub to connect with fellow Bitcoiners. Find meetups and discover every Bitcoin conference happening near you and across the country. No more explaining why money printing is theft to people who just don't get it. Now you can build real friendships with people who actually speak your language. Download the Orange Pill app and start meeting your laser-eyed brothers and sisters in the real world. And who knows, those connections you make could last a lifetime. Here we go. Ah, yes. Panic in the streets. Bitcoin is down from 110K to sub 83K, and guess what? The weak hands are dumping $7 billion worth of Bitcoin at a loss. It's a tale as old as time.
Tale as old as time.
Do you guys get your stack of Depends ready? I hope so, but this is why we feast when there's fear. You want to know who's not selling? The whales. Zoom out! Every single bull market has brutal dips. In 2017, Bitcoin dumped 38% multiple times before running to 20K. You don't get the parabolic gains without the shakeouts. You know what the real key to success in Bitcoin is? Just stack and chill, my friends. Roll it.
I didn't seriously start accumulating Bitcoin until like less than a year ago now, because I was just living kind of on fumes and reinvesting everything back into what I was building in my media space. And once I did start seriously, like I had enough extra capital to start putting away like 500 there, 1,000 there. It was an immediate, I think it's at like up 10%, 20% just on this little cycle here. And it's like, fine if it goes back down, but it's just crazy how scary it is from the outside. But once you're inside, it's like so refreshing and relaxing to know that, and this is the thing that all Bitcoiners know, and this is why Bitcoiners are such fun people, and you're a great example of this, is that I've noticed that when I meet Bitcoiners, they're just calmer. They're just chill, and they're not stressed like regular Americans, because I think most of us don't even realize how much of our daily like stress and tension is coming from financial instability, and this sort of subtle knowledge that the system has constantly got me on this, and most people don't realize they're on this treadmill of like, why is it that I can never afford anything? Why is it that I'm always trying to make rent and I'm always trying to pay my bills? And the moment you start to put more and more of your assets into Bitcoin, you don't even notice it at first, maybe if you're not paying attention to the tokenomics of why this is happening, but it's like, oh, it's going to be fine.
Yeah.
Because as this all gets harder, my number's going up in the background and I'm just chilling.
See, this is the mindset shift that happens when you truly get Bitcoin. Once you start moving more and more of your wealth into Bitcoin, you stop stressing about the day-to-day fiat chaos. Bank collapses? Not your problem. Inflation? Not your problem. Government running insane deficits? Not your problem.
Not my problem.
Now, why are these things no longer your problem? Because you hold the hardest asset ever created.
Welcome to the pain zone. It's where we live.
Accept the pain. Smile at the pain. Embrace the pain.
You need to love pain.
Pain is the only way to change.
Keep driving through the goddamn pain. Muscle through the pain.
Just shut up and let me enjoy this pain.
Pain is there to ask you one simple question. Do you really want to achieve your goals? Or are you just a talker?
Embrace the pain and welcome it, because it's here to remind us we're still alive, baby. And the price can swing. The media can scream. But we all know how this ends.
I mean, I think it's the best form of money that exists in terms of what money is actually supposed to do and supposed to be. All fiat currencies are, I mean, they're all junk. They're programmed to go to zero. Every fiat currency in history has trended towards zero, and they all do. It doesn't matter if it's the pound, like the pound, the dollar, the euro, the Swiss franc. Those are literally the best ones that exist.
Sure.
And how much are they worth now compared to what they were worth 30 years ago, 50 years ago, 100 years ago? My dad is a medical doctor. His annual salary when he first moved to the UK was £4,000 a year.
Wow.
So if you want to understand the scale of inflation, you think that you could feed a family. As a doctor, a good salary was £4,000 a year as recently as the 70s. And now, I mean, even if you were a doctor at that same level making 40,000, that wouldn't be enough. So people massively underestimate just how ravaging inflation is. It's almost taken for granted because people don't know any different that your money is just going to lose purchasing power over time, because that's how it's been since going off of gold standards. That's all anyone really knows. It's just assumed, a house now that costs £500,000, some years down the line, it'll be 600,000, then it'll be 700,000. And our brains think, oh, the house is gaining in value. Really, no, your pound is losing value. Your dollar is losing value. Your euro is losing value. So Bitcoin flips all that on its head. It totally changes the game. And most people don't understand that. Even most people who have heard of Bitcoin, even probably most people who own it, don't really understand what they're holding. I think it's the equivalent. You know, when you talk to older generations and they talk about, buying houses for like £5,000 or £8,000 or $10,000 or whatever, and we're just like, oh my gosh, that sounds completely crazy. I think when people tell their children, let alone their grandchildren, a few decades from now, that they were able to buy Bitcoin for under $1 million, let alone under 100,000, let alone under 10,000, let alone under 1,000 in their lifetime, their minds are going to be equally, if not more, blown.
Yeah. I do see social media pop-ups that Bitcoin is like buying a property in the 1940s.
Yeah, basically.
Same kind of thing.
Beachfront property.
Yeah.
In Manhattan, which doesn't exist, but
No, I didn't know there was a beach in Manhattan, but maybe a little stream through Central Park, Where do you see the price of Bitcoin in the next 10 years?
10 years, I would certainly say over $1 million within the next 12.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't normally do like public price predictions, but I think it's essentially mathematically
Well, there you go. You've heard it first at Bet Talk. Zuby.
Yeah. So I'll say that. I'd say within 12 years.
12 years.
Within 12 years, I see it over $1 million.
Wow.
Yeah. Question is, what's $1 million going to be worth?
And while all this is happening, the IMF is literally forcing El Salvador to limit Bitcoin transactions as part of their $1.4 billion loan deal. Let me get this straight. First, they say Bitcoin is useless. Now they say you can't use it if you want our money. Which one is it? The global fiat system is panicking because Bitcoin is winning. You don't ban or attack something useless. You attack things that are powerful. All right, now let's talk about the absolute most bullish thing that could happen this cycle. Imagine this. Trump makes Bitcoin a strategic reserve asset. Think it's crazy? Well, we are already nearing this, and calls to flip our gold into Bitcoin are growing.
I think that is actually a really important thing. When you're the reserve currency of the world, you don't have somebody else's currency to save in. So the United States doesn't have another currency. It stores $600 billion in gold, which is a staggering amount. It's equivalent to 11 million years of American worker wages. So that's kind of crazy. Go to digital gold. Bitcoin, it's much better. And so I do think it's totally rational. The U.S. already owns 1% of the world's Bitcoins. Keep that, increase that. So I do think it is actually a really good policy. There's a couple countries that already do own Bitcoin. It'd be great for the U.S. to get out in the lead.
The most bullish outcome looks something like this. The U.S. Treasury stacks Bitcoin. Game theory kicks in. Every other major economy is forced to buy it just to keep up. Bitcoin blasts off to $1 million and fast. And now here's the best part. The weekends that sold their Bitcoin at 82K. Imagine that pain they're gonna feel watching Bitcoin rip past $1 million per coin. That's generational wealth evaporated.
We're going to win so much, you may even get tired of winning. And you'll say, please, please, It's too much winning. We can't take it anymore. Mr. President, it's too much. And I'll say, no, it isn't. We have to keep winning. We have to win more. We're going to win more. We're going to win so much.
We already know that Trump is pro-Bitcoin. Unfortunately, he's pro-crypto too. But his team is literally laying out a master plan to turn the U.S. into a global Bitcoin hub. You think they don't understand what happens if America goes all in first?
Americans today are being forced to make these gut-wrenching decisions because our money is broken. With a beleaguered American middle class, Bitcoin is the off-ramp from the inflation highway of doom. If the world were on a Bitcoin standard and our money held its value, we would all have the ability to live more abundant lives. Bitcoiners have it right. Fix the money, fix the world.
Are we saying this will happen? Not necessarily, though an air of inevitability is at play. And if it does, the plebs who held their Bitcoin through this dip, they're going to be the new elites. It was foretold by the McRib. Don't fade the McRib. All right, let's recap. Saylor is orange-pilling Bezos, and PayPal is pushing Bitcoin payments. Bitcoin's dip is an opportunity, and the whales are stacking like crazy. The shits at the IMF are actively censoring Bitcoin, proving it's powerful as bleep those out for me. Regulators are coming for stablecoins, and that's a massive red flag. And Trump making Bitcoin a reserve asset could send us past $1 million overnight. Bitcoin is inevitable. Hold your keys, stay free, and get those tickets to Mining Disrupt 2025. The biggest Bitcoin mining conference on the planet, and it's coming to Fort Lauderdale, March 25th through the 27th. Get your tickets today and join thousands of Bitcoin mining professionals and enthusiasts from around the globe for an electrifying experience at Mining Disrupt. See the latest cutting-edge hardware, products, and services that are revolutionizing the Bitcoin mining industry. For over half a decade, Mining Disrupt has been the premier conference and expo exclusively dedicated to Bitcoin mining. Be part of the future and join the movement that's shaping the world of Bitcoin mining. Don't miss out. Head over to miningdisrupt.com and get your tickets today. Use promo code SimplyBitcoin for 20% off. Oh, and the Simply Bitcoin news desk gonna be on site. I'm gonna be there. Nico and Opti are gonna be there holding it down, and we hope to see you there as well. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Don't forget to like, and if you're not subscribed yet, fix it. Give us a pamp by sharing this video with a Fiat maximalist and drop a comment. Are you buying the dip? Is Valhalla upon us? Let us know in the comments below. And remember, during a dip, you get a raise. That's right, your dirty cuck bucks can get more sats per buck. One man's trash is another man's treasure. Just ask Peter Schiff. Hey, stay tuned for new content from Nico and Dante coming your way this weekend. Don't forget to set those notifications for the best in Bitcoin delivered to you daily. Hey, I love you guys. Catch you next time. Peace.
If you prefer to go down with the ship, fuck you.